Episode 1: The Era of the Indigenous. In the historical narrative of Haiti, there are 4 major epochs. The inaugural epoch was defined by the indigenous peoples. This was followed by the Spanish, French, and finally, the Haitian epoch. Now, let us delve into the first epoch, an era marked by the indigenous. Both Haiti and the Dominican Republic are nations occupying a single island. To the east, we find the Dominican Republic, and to the west, Haiti. The indigenous people were the earliest inhabitants of this island. Known for their reddish skin, a hue resembling copper, which raises the question, where did they originate? The answer remains uncertain, but some intellectuals propose that they journeyed from Eastern Europe, specifically around Russia, and gradually migrated southward. They continued their journey south. Over many centuries, these indigenous peoples dispersed throughout North, Central, and South America, as well as the Caribbean. However, these people ultimately vanished after the arrival of the Spanish from Spain in 1492, who enslaved them, resulting in their mass extinction. The next curiosity one might harbor ponders: how did these indigenous people govern the island? They attributed multiple names to the island, including Kiskeya, Boyo, and Babek, implying grand country in their language. The island received another label, Haiti, symbolizing land of mountains, a topography rich with significant elevation. The indigenous partitioned the island into 5 substantial segments, or chieftaincies. In 1492, a chieftain, or cacique, led each division. The first was Le Marien in the northwest, which encompassed areas including Port-de-Paix, Cap Haitien, and Fort Liberté. The chieftain, Guacanagaric, governed this area. Northeast, the second chieftaincy, called La Magua, encompassed the favorable region of Monte Cristi, under the rule of the cacique Guarionex. The central island contained the third chieftaincy, La Maguana, which included Hinche and Petite Rivière de l'Artibonite. The chieftain Kaonabo presided over this region. The fourth chieftaincy, Igwe, was situated southeast on the island, spanning Obana and Santo Domingo, with Cotibanaba at its helm. It is worth noting that a region called Igwe remains in the Dominican Republic today. The final chieftaincy, Zahagua, was located in the south, engulfing the prosperous areas of Port-au-Prince, Léogâne, Les Cayes, Jacmel, and Jérémie. It was governed by 2 leaders, one being Boyo and the other Queen Anakawona. The ultimate question we may ponder is, what were the characteristics of these indigenous people, and how did they sustain themselves? Uncomplicated folk, their subsistence was maintained through fishing, hunting, and gardening. Cassava was utilized for making bread, and the innovative plantation method called canuco enabled year-round cultivation. They harbored a passion for music and dance, specifically a rhythm termed aretos. Lavish celebrations were commonplace during this epoch, each accompanied by a samba presenting numerous lessons and parables. Among the most influential of sambas was Queen Anakawona, a leader of Zahagua in the Léogâne region. The indigenous locals practiced goldsmithing and fabricated clothing from cotton. Practicing pottery, they shaped vases, flower pots, dolls, plates, and piped clay from mud. Until their 15th birthday, children, regardless of gender, often went naked. The island population included sage healers, known as bitios, who used flora to concoct medicines and cure ailments. These bitios were the spiritual keepers, leading rituals and invoking a pantheon of spirits, known as zimis. It was an indigenous belief that when a person passed away, their soul journeyed to another realm. Dear viewers, the crux of the information we find in historical texts about the indigenous people who resided on this island has been distilled in this exposition.